A very warm welcome on our channel Oracle TV. We are live from our headquarters in Nakuru City, and I am glad that you are watching us. My name is Gachanja, and we have a great program lined up for you, a program that we are calling Unspoken. The Unspoken is this program that we are bringing to your room, to your living room, to your kitchen, to your hotel room, those things that are rarely told in the pulpit, those things that you are going through but probably you do not know where to get the solution, those things that you're going through and you do not know where it began. What should I do from here? Where do I go? What am I talking about? I'm talking about life issues. Probably you're talking about debts, financial issues. There are things that are unspoken. There are things probably we die with. We feel like we do not have people to talk to. We feel like probably it is a big shame. You feel like, let me just die with this. Things that are making you get into depression. Depression is real. Just the other day we saw a young girl talking about how they are living on depressants. People are living in medicine. People have different depressions. There are those who are having bipolar. There are those who are having different things. Talk about marriage issues. Talk about succession. Talk about so many things that we are facing as human beings. Talk about childhood trauma. Talk about the ages, the circumcision, the ladies when we are transiting from one group to the other. Those are the things that we will be talking about on this program, The Unspoken. And this is the premier program, the very first program that we are bringing to you and to your living room. And I believe and I thank God because of this program, because I know that your life is going to change. Transformation is already here. The future is already here. So my guest, my viewer, just tune in, tell a friend to tell a friend that Gachanja has brought this great program that is going to speak to you, that is going to speak to you, friend. Probably if you're not going through it, you have someone going through it. You have your spouse, you have your children, you have your relatives that are going through these issues. So welcome, very much welcome. And today with me in studio on our very first program, I have a long-time friend whom we have worked with through my journey on different occasions, and her name is Esther Nyambura. Esther Nyambura will be talking to us about herself, what she does. And before we even get to our topic, karibu sana.
Thank you so much, Corey.
Yes. Tell us who you are and where you're coming from.
My name is Esther Nyambura. I'm a psychologist. I practice at Bridge to Wellness Counseling Center. It's located here in town at Equator House, 3rd floor, room number 3. Mm-hmm. I've been doing counseling for the last 6 years.
6?
Yeah, 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I do it full time. So I'm on full time practicing. Mm-hmm. And I thank God for that grace.
Amen.
Yes.
Great. When you say here in town, you know, in Nairobi we are in town, Eldoret we are in town, Nakuru we are in town, Meru we are in town. Which town?
I'm in Nakuru town.
Oh,
Nakuru
right.
town.
Nakuru City.
Yeah, Nakuru City.
All right.
Yeah.
Karibu sana Esther, as you have heard her say, and some of the things that we'll be talking about. In 2017 and 2020, WHO announced something that to date it has always been lingering in my mind. It is something that I always think about and wonder what happened until we got to this situation. In 2017, the adolescents' suicide was announced as a public health crisis globally. And also in 2020, in America's Academy of Pediatricians, they declared that youth suicide is a global public health crisis also. So you can see in 2017, we had the issue of adolescents. In 2020, we have had the issue of young children. Pediatric, I believe they are children. In our nation today and even globally, we are seeing so many suicide happening, so many tragedies happening. And I was just asking myself, what is this? Where did we go wrong? What is happening? And remember, we also have the spiritual aspect of this. But when we get back to psychiatrics and people like counselors, probably we can get where the problem started. So that as we also go into spirituality, it is good to go. I usually say, when I'm going to tell God I need money, I need to tell him I need money for what? Because if I just need money, probably he already knows. If I give you this money, you will waste yourself and you will stop believing in me. So when I'm going to God to tell him, this is what I need, what do I need it for? So on this very, very first episode of our Unspoken program with Esther Nyambura, we are going to talk about children trauma. And probably to start with, how do you even know your child is traumatized? What is this trauma actually?
Thank you so much, Koi. Let me start by defining what childhood trauma is. And I'll say it is severe, adverse childhood, severe, advanced childhood experiences or negative events or experiences that a child goes, and it affects child development. And when you talk about child development, we realize that from 0 to 18 years, there are stages where a child has to go through. Like, for example, 0 to 1, we have where we say trust of a child is developed. Then from 2 years to around 4 years, it is where the shame of a child, whether they believe in exactly, that is when it is developed until 18 years. Actually, even how you identify yourself, it is from 0 to 18 years. So when you talk about childhood trauma, we are talking about the negative, severe experiences a child undergoes.
All right.
And for examples of childhood traumas, for example, neglect, whereby the caregiver, who can be a parent, a guardian, neglects a child well-being. You can neglect a child physically, emotionally, psychologically. You don't provide for them. That is one area where you neglect a child. Another example is abandonment, where you abandon your child. Maybe because you didn't want to get pregnant, the timing was wrong, you have so many things going on as a parent, as a guardian, so you decide to abandon the child. Sometimes parents take their children to rural areas, not because there's strain in town, but because they don't want to be associated with them. So that is still abandonment. Also abuse, and abuse can come in form of sexual abuse, whereby a child is sexually assaulted when he or she is young. There is emotional abuse, which especially emotional abuse is the silent one. Sometimes we don't even know we are abusing our child emotionally. Then there is the physical, whereby sometimes you cane a child, you punish a child, in a big way.
Probably to even cut you short before we go on, you've talked about emotionally. How do you neglect this child emotionally?
Koi, emotionally, no wonder I've said it is a silent one, because sometimes a child comes, they want to tell you something like, Koi, mom, this has happened to me, this is how I'm feeling. And then you tell this child, si saa hizi, hebu kwanza we kando, niko na mambo mingi inanisumbua. This is what we normally tell our children.
So I'm busy doing something.
I'm busy doing something. Maybe this child wanted to share something with you that is maybe her feelings, his feelings. And what did you do?
You shut the child.
Yeah, exactly, and you push the child aside. And it happens the first time, the second time, the third time. So do you think this child will come back to you running?
No.
So emotionally, that is how you're doing it. Then emotionally, how do you tell this child? For example, when this child brings a result from school, and maybe out of 15, this child is number 14. What do you tell this child?
Mujinga kama baba yako.
So what are you telling this child?
Your father is foolish.
And also
You also foolish. There is nothing good that can come from you.
Exactly.
Actually, that is what most parents do.
Thank you. And remember, for you to say mjinga kama babako, it's because even
Mama yako.
your relationship with the father, your relationship with the mother is not good.
Yes.
Because how can you equate mjinga like to either the father or the mother if you have a good relationship?
Yes.
So remember that one. And this child has already seen how you and the father relate. So when you tell them mjinga kama babako,
that's it.
Exactly.
Actually, I remember I think it's on my child's parents meeting. A teacher was telling us they asked children to draw their fathers. And a child drew a body without a head. So the teacher was like, why did you draw your parent like that? Si mami anasemanga baba hana kichwa.
Exactly.
So that is emotional trauma. All right, so we were talking about examples of traumas.
Yes. We've talked about abuse, and we see there's physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse. So that can lead to childhood trauma.
Yes.
These conditional love, sometimes as parents, and especially, the trauma sometimes comes from us parents. And conditional love is when you love a child because of something. Like if, for example, you have 10 kids, actually you can be in a family of 4 and only one who will undergo childhood trauma. The other 3 are very okay. Why? Because your love as a parent is not unconditional, it is conditional.
It is directional.
Exactly. How do you perform at school? If you're the last, you're the one who will be doing the dishes, you're the one who will be cooking, as the rest study. Because after all, so you know the results you bring.
Yes.
And we are all, we are not gifted equally.
Yes.
But now as parents, what do?
We concentrate more on those who are doing better in school.
Yes. Assuming you as a parent, you have 4 kids and one is abled differently. And you've not accepted that as a child, as a parent. So what do? You hide this child. So in hiding this child, what are you doing to this child?
You're neglecting that child. That child will be traumatized actually.
Exactly. So you see where childhood traumas comes from. The other thing is about bullying. And bullying can be at home, at school, even in the community where we live, in our interactions.
Yes.
So bullying also can lead to childhood trauma. We have also domestic violence, whereby as parents we fight. Of course, fights are normal. I say in a marriage institution, people fight.
Yes.
But then how are you fighting? Because sometimes you don't need to fight in front of children. You don't need to call names in front of
children.
Exactly.
Yes.
So the domestic violence also leads to childhood trauma. We also have wars and civil wars. Sometimes you are misplaced as a child.
Yes.
You don't even know where your mother went, where your father is, where your brothers are, because of war.
Yes.
Poverty also. I'm not saying poverty because I know even as we've come from poverty.
Yes.
But then this poverty, it can be in excess. Sometimes they lack basic. They even don't know how they're going to eat. They don't know the next meal where is going to come from. Then in poverty, you don't explain the situation because children understand. I always, I tell parents, imagine a 4 months old child, especially for us mothers who, when we are breastfeeding.
Yes.
Imagine say that time the child is anatoa meno.
Teeth.
Exactly. If this child bites you,
you just reminded me.
Exactly. But when you spank this, don't
you think it is okay?
But this child responds. So next time, even when the child is breastfeeding, you'll realize he or she doesn't bite you like the first time. Why?
Yes.
Because they understand. So even in poverty, can you sit down with your children and explain why sometimes you're sleeping hungry? It's not because of them. Sometimes we tell them, if it is not because of you,
oh yeah,
we will not be this.
If it was not you, I will be doing better.
Yes. If I didn't give birth to 10 children, I'll be somewhere.
So automatically they grow knowing that we were the problem.
Exactly.
We are the reason why mom and dad fight.
Yes.
We are the reason why we slept hungry. Oh God. Wow. May God forgive us.
So those are examples of
childhood traumas.
Yeah. Another one is, have I talked about abandonment? Yes.
Yes.
The other issue is absenteeism. And this is happening kwanza lately.
Actually, of late we have that trend of single and happy. A mother of two, single and happy.
Yes.
A father of two. Right now we are talking of baby mamas. It is no longer about my wife. It is baby mama. So that is also a problem.
Yes. Whether your marriage didn't work, whatever situation you are in, as long as the father of the child is there, the mother of the child is there, at least make an effort
for them to have a relationship.
Yes, it's very important for them. Plus, we can also even be married, happily married, but very busy in what we do. And then we think we are going to equate our absenteeism with money
and gifts,
which it can't happen. So absenteeism. So as much as we are busy, which I agree we are busy.
We are doing this for their sake. We are working tirelessly for them. So how are we going to balance this? Because I actually don't understand how, by me working hard and my husband working hard to bring food on the table, will make this child become traumatized at some point.
Yes, because it's gifts and provision is not the only need a child requires from you as a parent. They require your presence.
They need you physically there.
Yes, and a child will always notice when you as a parent you're making an effort. They can always tell when mom, dad, they make effort to be with us. So even in your busy schedule, can you please balance? Can you please look for time where you need to be with your children? Even when you come home late, because I know there are family situations whereby a child sees their mother maybe on Friday evening or Saturday morning. Same case to dad. You see your father on Sunday morning or Saturday morning. Why? Because Monday you leave very early in the morning, you come late. The child is already asleep. Tuesday the same day, same case. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So Saturday when you are home is when now they get to see you, and for very few hours, because you also have issues. Maybe as a lady you want to go to the salon, you want to go catch up with your friends. But then when do you get to see them? But in your mind you are saying they always go home every day. Si wanajuanga.
I actually go and look at them while sleeping.
Thank you. This is what we do, and you say you know they are safe.
Yes, we actually even take pictures and post online.
Yes,
sweet angels. My piggy whatever. We give them very many names.
All those names.
Yes.
Sometimes when we are working, we call home. We call maybe our house girl, our helpers. Hi, how is so and so? How is the child doing? At least we updated, but they don't experience our presence.
Yes.
So that one still can also lead to trauma.
Wow. I hope that this program is of help to you who is viewing us, you who is already a parent or an aspiring parent, because I think I'm already learning too many things, that your presence is very important. Don't blame your children. Don't use abusive language. Don't even, when you have conflicts, they don't have to see that. They don't have to hear that. But probably in Nyambura, I can ask this. We are in urban setups currently. And you see with how things are, probably we are living in a one room. So sasa tutatoka nje kwenda kupigiana kelele huko.
Of course, tutatoka nje kupigania kelele huko. But I'm also imagining, unless you don't know how to control, which as we are going to learn, if you're not able to control your emotions, then there's a problem. Because even at the heat of the moment, because let me ask you, when we are making those children, what happens?
We are very happy.
We are in that same one room.
Yes.
So do we do whatever we do, them looking at us?
No.
Then why is it difficult for us to handle our issues in that same one room? It's possible.
Very possible.
Yes, it is how we handle. You know, getting angry, fighting, that's normal. It is now how we handle. Actually, it is how you handle a moment that defines everything.
All right.
Yes.
I hope you can see our SMS lines. You can SMS us, you can WhatsApp us in case you have any question, and we will surely get some more time to answer your questions. We have looked at what trauma is. We have also looked at the examples. Some, actually, we've just touched on some of the examples. Now, I have a child here, regardless of the age. You've told me even an 18-year person is a child. We, on this context, is between 1 day to 18 years. How now do I know, just sitting with this child or walking with this child, or just someone has come in, how do I know or identify that what this person is going through, this person is traumatized?
Koi, thank you so much. You know, there are things we just look at a child and then we assume this is normal. But actually it is not normal. Sometimes if you notice your child is sleeping excessively.
Allah? Does it also happen to us who are old? Some of us love sleep.
No, you can't just be sleeping excessively and then you say you love sleep. There is always limit to everything.
All right.
Yes.
So if someone is sleeping excessively
or they don't sleep at all, you realize insomnia. Yes.
You want to say even some of these disorders could be caused by trauma?
Yes. Yes.
Oh God.
Yes. So another one is eating disorder. Like there's high, like the child is eating hashibi. You've had parents saying, na kwani wewe ushibangi?
Foodie person.
Yani kwani shimo yako ijangi? I've had such.
Yes.
Ama they don't have appetite at all. And then they are very, they are very irritable. Kitu kidogo, very irritable. Then sometimes they develop aggressiveness. Other times they withdraw. Actually, when you go to a person's house, sometimes you don't even realize they are children. And you know how children, when they see a visitor, what they do? Normally they'll come, they'll want to greet the visitor, they're there.
So we think we are disciplining them kind of bedroom.
Why are you telling them? You need to train them. Like when I have a visitor, come greet them.
Then go and play.
Then after we are done with greetings and whatever, then go and play. Then why do you want to remember during our times macho ile ulikuwa unapewa your mom like you remember those days?
Yes.
So now that is not how it's supposed to be.
Yes.
You're supposed to train your child like I'm having a visitor.
You are traumatized
somehow. I believe our parents did what they knew best. Yes. So irritability, aggressiveness, there is isolation whereby you see a child is isolated. For example, if the child has gone through developmental stage, sometimes they go back, they regress back. For example, you may realize a child is bedwetting
and maybe the head stops.
Exactly.
Really?
Yeah. Even sometimes you realize a child could call you mom, dad.
All of a sudden, it's not there.
Yes.
They had started walking, now they can't walk.
Yes.
They were doing well in school, all of a sudden.
Yes.
Okay.
And remember, sometimes it is not you as a parent because maybe you are working. It is now the caretaker, the caregiver of your child.
Yes.
Maybe the girls we have in our home sometimes because they're the immediate,
Yes.
Yeah. So you realize now the child is maybe one stage
behind back, actually.
Yes. There is also sometimes you realize their performance at school is
going down.
Sometimes they don't, they have dreams. You hear a child screaming at night. And then you're like, what is happening? Remember, it is now the fear, the dreams coming back.
Yes.
What maybe how the day was. Now it is coming in a form of a dream. Then sometimes you realize as a child, they like role playing. Role playing is when, for example, if the abuser is the mother, they take the form of the mother. You find them pale when they are maybe playing. It is they want to role play the abuser. Sometimes they like retelling their story.
Yes.
Very often. And this,
like my daughter, when I get home, she wants to tell me everything that happened. Yes.
Yeah. Now this time they specifically tell you about the trauma. And this you'll find even in adults. For example, if this person didn't heal, hasn't overcome the issue of trauma, they keep on telling you their story. You know, this happened to me, this happened to me, this happened to me. It's quite repetitive. They keep on retelling their story. So that's another symptom where you can know the child is. Sometimes they become withdrawn. They don't share with you anything. Apart from being isolated, they will become withdrawn. They cannot tell you anything. Whether they are hungry, whether they are full, whether they don't. And then sometimes when you tell them you are leaving, they cry a lot.
They become so, how do I call it? They will even want you not to go to work.
Yes.
All right.
Remember the attachment. You know, we have secure attachment. Secure attachment is whereby you tell your child, Mama, Dad, I'm going, however you call your child, I'm going to work and then I'll come back in the evening. And true to your word, you come back in the evening. So that is secure attachment.
Yes.
Insecure is whereby you tell your child you're coming back, you don't come back. You tell your child, I'll bring you something, you don't. And you don't explain. After all, this is a child.
Yes. Wow, wow, wow. Well, I don't know what you have done or what you're going to do about this, but I believe that so many of us can already see there is a disconnect somewhere with our children or probably ourselves. And I'm just trying to imagine there are those of us who are going through issues at our adult age, but we do not know it's because of that eye that mama gave you. It's because of that finger that your papa gave you. It's just the wordings, you know. I remember in my native language, I will be told, musipike, mutakuja munikule. As in those kind of things. I know people have so many stories about these things that we were told. Ata hizo ng'ombe musipeleke malishoni, mutajikamua. Those things could have had impacts and negative impacts in our lives. Wow, remember, my dear viewer, we are talking about childhood trauma. And we have seen what it is and some of the example and some of the causes of these traumas. With me in studio, I have Esther Nyambura, who works with the Bridge to Wellness Counseling Center in Nakuru. And probably you can tell us where we can get you.
I'm located at Equity House. Equity House is next to Ereto Bookshop. At least Ereto is known. Ereto Bookshop. That floor. Room number 3.
All right.
That is where I'm located.
Okay.
Yes.
I know we will be continuing with these episodes in our coming up shows. Probably your parting shot on this first episode.
It's easy. It's easy. The things we've mentioned, you've realized there are things you're able to do as a parent, as a caregiver, because being present is something that is possible. Not shouting. It's still possible. Yes.
Not taking your stress from work to your children.
Yes. Why are you displacing your anger to your children? They're not the cause. After all, did they ask you like they want to be born?
They didn't.
So why are you punishing them?
You actually made a decision.
Exactly. So so honor that.
All right, that has been our time on the Unspoken. My name is Gachanja, together with Esther Nyambura. See you next week as we continue with this awesome topic. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we will be back on childhood trauma.